Hello and welcome at the final part of my Next War Poland video about the scenario Red Storm, the Baltic invasion. This is going to be third and the last turn of this scenario. And while the first two turns were initiative turns, where Russian player had an initiative, this turn is contested. So Russian player hasn't an initiative in this turn, so it will be shorter, because we will skip initiative, movement and combat phase. We are starting with weather phase, nothing, supply phase, again nothing, initiative, air, naval phase. So no, none of the players has an initiative, so it's contested. We're gonna check for air points. According to the scenario rules, each player has 2 air points in this scenario only, no more. So because of that, none of the player has air advantage as well. It is contested. 2. Sea control means nothing for us. Mine clearance again, and initiative, movement and combat phase. We are skipping this because this is not an initiative turn. So we are moving into basic movement and combat phase. And we are starting with Russians. So, what they can do? Attacking here will be very hard. It is very problematic to capture this Vilnius. It is well defended by Americans. But I think I have no better things to do, so I will keep on attacking, and I will send now here 2 my brigades from Riga into Kurzeme to attack Americans here. Maybe I will be lucky enough to get them out of this Kurzeme, and even if not, I might be able to not let them capture this land area and to control it. That's all when it comes to the Russians. I think yes, because they don't have any other units they can move. I would like to do something else. No, that's all. Nothing more for Russians when it comes to their first movement segment. And we can... Oh, sorry. Yes, I think I did everything right. Yes, I did. Okay, that's all when it comes to the movement, and next we have first combat segment. Let's start with this battle. We have 8 against 4. So we have 2 to 1 as the basic combat odds, with no additional minus 1. And next we're gonna check column shifts. First for combat efficiency, Americans have 7, best Russian units has 6, so we have 1 column shift in favor of the defender. And next, air support. Russians are spending 1 of their air points to gain 1 air support. Let's make a roll for air defense. 2 in the contested means -1, so no air points for Russians. And allies are going to use their 1 air points as well. 9, yes, they managed to do so, so they gain +1. And I think that's all. No, that's not all. We have light infantry here defending in the raw woods, so we have +2 for allies. And now I can make a roll with +2 modifier. 5 + 2, 7. It is 7. Attacker is losing 1 step. So that wasn't very good attack for Russians. And next we're gonna make a combat here. We have 3, 6, 9 against 2, 9. So we have 1 to 1 clear odds. And next let's make column shifts. I'm going to use this tank brigade. No, maybe this motorized infantry. It has same efficiency rating, rating, so we have 5 against 6, so we have -1. And next I'm going to use 2 artillery groups, so we have +2 for Russians. And next, Russians are using their air point. Eight. It works, so they have -1 because of that. NATO spends 1 air point as well. 4 against these are armored units, so it turns into 3. Still, it's fine. So air points are nullifying each other. NATO tries to use combat helicopters. 2. 1 because of the armored units. It doesn't work. So next we're gonna check for other Divert modifiers. We have light infantry defending in the raw woods, so +1, and we have 2 Russian formations, so we have +2. And let's make a roll. 0 + 2, 1 and retreat. So Russian unit is losing 1 step, American unit is eliminated, and nothing more happens. So that's all when it comes to this combat, and there are no further battles on the board, I guess. No, that's all. So I can take it back, and now we have a second movement segment when NATO moves their units. And now I think I might finally try to do something, well, a bit more offensive with NATO. I'm gonna move this unit here, this here, and these 2 here. This will be, well, quite a interesting thing, but I'm gonna attack these Russians in Riga, because this is flagged area, so capturing this will give me, well, good number of victory points, so I might try to do it. Okay, so that's all when it comes to the NATO movement, I think. Yes, that's all. I'm not going to move this American brigade from this Kutseme land area, because when it's here, this area is contested, so Russians will not get any victory points for that either. So let's resolve this attack. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 combat strength points against 4 strength points, so we have 1 to 1. Do we have any column shifts? We have, oh yes, this British commando has 7 combat efficiency, while this Russian unit has 6, so we have +1. And that's all when it comes to the column shifts. And next we are moving into Divert modifiers. Russians are using their combat helicopters that are here in Russia. I'm gonna make a roll for them. I rolled 2, so they failed, and I'm going to use these American helicopters to help this joint attack. I rolled 7, so it is good, they can be used. NATO gains -1. And next we have no air points to spend, so no more air forces. And next we get another Divert modifier, since we have light infantry attacking in the raw woods, so we have -2. And next we get +1, because we have 3 different nations, and British units and German units, despite being in NATO, are not considered as one nationality. So we have +1, and we have different formations here, but since these are all NATO forces, they don't gain this negative modifier because they are all NATO. So we roll for attack for NATO. I rolled 6, minus 1 is 5. It's 1, 1. So Russians suffer 1 step loss and NATO also suffers 1 step loss. And that's all when it comes to this combat. We don't have any other attacks here, I think. Yes, I don't. I could attack here in this island, but I don't think it's necessary. They are doing just a good job with preventing Russians to gain control over this island area. So let them be where they are. They are fine there. And that's all when it comes to the second combat segment. We are moving to the reorganization phase. Next we have to rotate all the artillery. It's not very important since this is the last turn, but let's do it just for the clearance of the rules. Now remove AO points, they are all spent. Reset AO mobile points, they weren't used. And conduct clearing operations. We still have some clearing operations to conduct. First, here. Okay. So it was 4 against with 5. We are in the Lithuania, so minus 1. We are using leg and mechanized, yes, so we get plus 1, so it's 0. Difference between efficiency rating is 5 against 4, so we have plus 1. And difference between stacking and minimum safe stacking is 0 since we have 5. So we roll with 0 modifier. My. They have a really bad luck. You can clearly tell this while looking at these actions. And here, I don't think I will try to clear this land area again, because you would see it was impossible with these units, but I might try to here at Narva. 1, 3, 5. They are doing in Estonia, so they have minus 1. They have leg and no, they don't have leg units, so they don't get any modifiers for difference between stacking point and clearing number, and they don't get any points for difference between stacking points and safe stacking points, so they just roll with minus 1. It will be hard again. 5 minus 1 is 4, so they failed. Okay, that's all when it comes to the clearing operations. We don't get any reinforcement in this turn since it is the last turn of this scenario. So let's count victory points for both sides, all sides. Russians gain 3 points and Allies gain 3 points as well. So 3. Oh, sorry, we should remove control markers from these lands because these are contested now, because there is Allied units here and here as well. So we gain 3, 6, 9. So 9 victory points for Russians, so they have 23 victory points. And now Allies. They have 3, and I think these are the only points they can gain. Yes, they can only gain 3 victory points, so they gain 12. Okay, that's all when it comes to this scenario. You can see it is quite hard for NATO, especially when you play with updated setup. When you play it with original units that are included in the rulebook, it is very, very hard for Russians. And now, when you play updated versions with the Board Game Geek add-ons, it goes a bit easier for Russians. But still, you can do something with Allies. At last, there is a possibility for not being completely shattered by Russians. Of course, it is mostly because of the very bad rolls for clearing operations, like here, when I did it 3 times and I failed 3 times, but that's the magic of the dice rolling. That's all for this. I hope you enjoyed this video, and this is the end of this scenario. And the next scenario I'm going to play, I plan to do so, is Operation Arctic Storm Retaking the Baltics, which is basically the same land, but this time NATO will attack and try to get Baltic states back. So, thank you for watching and see you again.